Speaking on the topic of confidence, just imagine the Buddha himself having discovered the Dhamma, having become a Buddha, and now then teaching the Dhamma to others. There's nothing left that is open for him to do. Imagine the sense of accomplishment that the Buddha has on account of all the many things he has accomplished. And then with all these accomplishments, we can imagine there will also be a sense of safety, confidence, security. Would you like to be confident also? Actually, we can see from one sutta where the Buddha explains what are for him the reasons for confidence. We have a sutta here in Anguttara Nikaya, Book of Sevens, sutta number 58. And the sutta is called No Need to Hide. No need to conceal himself behind a tree. So the Buddha starts out by saying, Bhikkhus, there are 4 things that the Tathagata does not need to hide, and 3 things about which he is irreproachable. Irreproachable means he cannot be criticized. There's 3 things for which he cannot be criticized, 4 things that he doesn't have to hide. What are the 4 things that the Tathagata does not need to hide? Because the Tathagata is one whose bodily behavior is purified. There is no bodily misconduct on the part of the Tathagata that he might need to hide, thinking, let others not find out this about me. So in other words, the Buddha's bodily conduct, actions done with the body, they are pure. He does not have to worry whether people can find out this or that about him. They are pure, so he can have a sense of confidence about that. On the contrary, you can imagine if a person maybe is stealing things or killing, if the others find out about that, they won't be happy and they might imprison him or punish him. And of course, you always have then to try to conceal, or maybe also have to lie, because we have to try to cover up. Whereas the Buddha, or anyone maybe, who is pure in his bodily deeds, you don't have to hide on account of your bodily actions. Just imagine the sense of confidence. You go through down, or you speak with your friends. You don't have to be careful. I hope they don't find out this about me or that about me. No, you can be open and transparent. So it's not just about killing human beings. I think most of us, we are able to abstain from that. But then also, for maybe stealing or taking what is not given, or sexual misconduct. I think that also happens out in the world from time to time, where people are in a relationship, but then sometimes they are not faithful to their partner. Then of course, you have to try to cover it up, right? You have to try to conceal it. So there's always the fear and danger that the person might find out, or maybe some friends will tell him or her. So it doesn't feel good if you have to go through life in this way with this uncertainty. But not just the bodily behavior is purified of a Buddha. Also, the Tathagata is one whose verbal behavior is purified. There's no verbal misconduct on the part of the Tathagata that he might need to hide, thinking, let others not find out this about me. So also no verbal misconduct. So let's do some brainstorming. What is verbal misconduct? Can you give me some examples? Verbal misconduct, what would that be? Cursing, yeah, right. Very harsh speech, cursing, swearing. What else? How about gossiping? Very popular sport in Malaysia. Actually, not only in Malaysia, it's international, Then other verbal misconduct, what else? Harsh speech, rude words. Yeah. How about lying? Is it wholesome or unwholesome? So you can imagine a person lying a lot. The sense of confidence will be lacking. I mean, it might look from outside, maybe the person looks confident. But because he knows, he's been telling one story to you, the next story to another person, the next story and another. So, wow, I don't know what did I tell to whom. So then you might be always scared that the truth might come out. So this is one of the things, the drawback, of course. So the lack of confidence. When you go somewhere and you don't never know, I hope they don't find out all my lies or stories that I've been telling. Have you ever met any people, or maybe friends or family members, where you're not so sure anymore they're telling the truth or not, because you've caught them once or twice, and then we don't know, can we trust? Maybe it's correct what he or she says now, but in the past also sometimes it was not. So there's a lack of trust, a lack of confidence in what the person says. Sometimes even the person himself also knows, okay, I've been lying a lot or telling stories, so some of them true, some of them not. Sometimes to make themselves more credible, they say things, believe me, it's like this. You know what? Once a person says, believe me, oh, you already know. Better don't believe. So imagine again, a person is pure in his bodily actions, he does not kill, does not steal, also in his verbal actions, no harsh speech, no lying, no cheating. Wow, the confidence, wherever he goes, he can go upright, with confidence, straight, and people will take him or her seriously because we can rely on each other. So you will be a welcome member of any group. And of course also the Tathagata is one whose mental behavior is purified. There is no mental misconduct on the part of the Tathagata that he might need to hide, thinking, let others not find out this about me. So mental misconduct could be holding wrong views, or a lot of anger or hostility towards another person. Even though you don't act on it, you don't say anything, but internally there's still, oh, I wish for that person to perish, or may he be struck by lightning. Even if you do nothing, even if you don't act on it, but that mental thought, that mental wish, that intention is still very unwholesome and can produce bad results. Not only by action, but also mental action also counts. But then here it says, let others not find out this about me. But how can others find out what are your thoughts? Normally your thoughts are private to you anyway, right? So I think normally it's quite safe. But actually there are also some people, sometimes very good meditators, they can actually also read other people's thoughts and the mind to some degree. So even though you're not sharing anything, but they can pick up on certain things from the mind, and in this way know each other's thoughts. So just imagine you would be in the presence of such a person, he can read your thought the whole day, Would you be okay? There's nothing to hide, right? So if you always have beautiful, wholesome thoughts, let them read your mind, nothing to conceal, nothing to hide. But probably not so good they can read every thought. Would you like to read the thoughts of others? No need, huh? You can imagine the same rubbish, your own mind, other people also, you want to hear that the whole day? Oh, thank you. Now already you got a house with some rubbish. Now you also steer around in other people's rubbish. Not useful. But actually to know the mind of others, you don't necessarily have to be able to read the mind with psychic powers. There's also other ways. If you're observant, you can often pick up on people's emotions, on feelings, even if they don't say anything. Just the way the person sits, looks, facial expression, we can get actually a lot of information. You might not have to read their thoughts, but you can sometimes get quite a good reading of their mental state. And sometimes we think we can conceal our emotions towards others, but sometimes they can still pick up on that. They kind of have a sense something is wrong, not right, something is wrong here. And maybe just the way we react, the way we look. Actually the eyes also, they tell so much. So we can still get a good read sometimes on each other. They did some studies where they observed with camera, and when two people meet, they didn't know that they are seeing each other, like on the road, you're walking down the road, and suddenly an old friend crosses your way, and suddenly you see him or her. The initial reaction that you can see on the face is actually, well, you might like or might not like that person. If you like the person, of course, you will smile and be welcoming. But even, of course, even if we don't like the person from the past, we don't tell him straight away. So we still say, oh, hello, how are you doing? But actually, the first moment when you see that person, it's too fast to fake. If you look at the facial reaction, you see the person, hello. But the first moment is, so there you can actually see what the person really thinks of you. If the first moment when he happens to see you, are they smiling straight away? Or is there some half a second or even shorter kind of frowning and, hello. But many of these things, they happen so fast that you might not consciously pick up on those things. But your subconscious mind registers, oh, something strange. You might not know the first split second he was looking like that, afterwards like this, but somehow your subconscious mind still picks up on those cues. Next point. The Buddha is one also whose livelihood is purified. There is no wrong livelihood on the part of the Tathagata that he needs to hide, thinking, let others not find out this about me. So for a Buddha or a monk, the livelihood is like we're doing here. We go on alms round, we collect the food. This is considered right livelihood for a monk. If you would just come here in the morning and say, oh, please give me some money, I want to go to McDonald's, and that would not be right livelihood for a monk, to ask for money. We can just stand in silence, and if people want to give some food, it's okay. But we cannot just approach people and ask, not even for food. We cannot even ask for food. We can just stand silent. People want to give, it's okay. But we are not begging, we are not allowed to beg. This would not be right livelihood for a monk. Or another way for a monk of wrong livelihood would be if maybe he's not asking directly, but he is hinting. You know hinting? So instead of saying, oh, I would like to go to a Japanese restaurant, he's not saying. He says, oh, it has been a long time, the last time I had Japanese food. I think I've forgotten how it tastes. So roundabout talking, but hoping the people will pick up and then say, oh, Bhante, you want to go to a Japanese restaurant? I'm glad you asked. So this is also a wrong livelihood for a monk. Monks are not supposed to do like that. For monks only, they can go with the alms bowl, stand somewhere. If they want to go to a Japanese restaurant, they can stand in front of the restaurant. And if somebody comes out and says, would you like to have something? Then he can accept that. That is okay. So then for you, for a layperson, a wrong livelihood, what would that be? I think you can go to Japanese restaurant, no problem, huh? But then if you earn your money by selling weapons or slave girls, or prostitutes, things like that, that way of earning a living, poison, that would also not be right livelihood. Or you're cheating in your business. Yeah, maybe you're selling fruits at the market, and 1 kilo of banana, I don't know what it costs, but so you put it on the scale. Okay, 1 kilo. Okay, it is in this price, but actually your scale is a little bit rigged. So it's only 0.7 kg, not 1 kg. But it looks, how would people know? So this way you sell your banana, but it's actually cheating, you're kind of pretending. So that would also be wrong livelihood, of course. But in the contrary, if your livelihood is pure, it's an earnest living, you're not cheating, you're not harming anyone, you can be confident about that. You don't have to worry, I hope nobody finds out about this. So these are the 4 things that the Buddha does not need to hide. His bodily conduct, his verbal, his mental conduct, and also his livelihood. Same for us, right? If our bodily conduct is pure, we don't have to hide. Our speech is pure, we are not lying. Our verbal conduct, our mental conduct, our livelihood, also the same. But remember, in the beginning, the sutta said there are also 3 things about which the Buddha is irreproachable. He cannot be rightfully criticized. Irreproachable. You want to know what they are? The first one is, the Tathagata is one whose Dhamma is well expounded, well explained. In regard to this, I do not see any ground on the basis of which an ascetic, Brahmin, Deva, Mara, Brahma, or anyone could reasonably reprove me. Nobody can reasonably say, for such and such reasons, your Dhamma is not well expounded. Since I do not see any such ground, I dwell secure, fearless and confident. So in other words, the job of a Buddha is to teach the Dhamma. And so he's teaching the Dhamma not just in an incomplete manner, but in a very well, thorough, complete manner. In other words, he's doing a good job at being a Buddha. So because he's teaching the Dhamma well, and he knows that, therefore he knows also, nobody can rightfully criticize me for not having done that properly. So then I wonder, can we draw some analogy also for our current life? Even if you're maybe not a Sammasambuddha, what can we still learn something from that? Maybe yes, yeah. The same principle should apply. If the Buddha is confident because he's doing a good job at his task that is expected, so then maybe also for us also, if you do the job, whatever is your expectation, either on the workplace or in family life, and you fulfill the tasks and duties well and thoroughly and diligently, you can have confidence. I'm secure. Nobody can blame or criticize me. I've done a good job. So whatever it is, on the workplace, if you're repairing cars, then doing a good job at that, thoroughly, that you know, not after 500 meters when the customer drives away, that everything breaks again. So you can be confident. I've done a good job. This will work for a long time. Or if you organize a small party for your family or for friends, even that we do with full diligence. So not cutting any corners, organizing everything that is required, cleaning up everything, not just brushing things under the corner or shoveling things in the next room, but doing a thorough job at the preparation. Cooking, also the same, right? There are also ways to cut corners, I guess. There's always ways of cutting corners. Whatever it is, there's always a way. So again, doing that well gives confidence. I've done a good job. Even at the end of your life, at some point, you don't have to have remorse looking back. So you can be confident, I've done my tasks and duties properly. The Buddha also says that I have well proclaimed to my disciples the practice leading to Nibbana in such a way that practicing in accordance with those teachings, the destructions of the Danes, they realize for themselves with direct knowledge, they gain liberation of the mind, liberation by wisdom, and they dwell in it. So the Buddha understands that the Dhamma he's teaching is not just helping a little bit in daily life, but leads all the way to Nibbana. And nobody can justifiably criticize him. No. It's only maybe nice to have a bit of mindfulness during daytime, but it does not lead to Nibbana. No, it does lead to Nibbana. So he has confidence, again, about the value of what he's doing. Not just that he's doing his job well, but also that it is a very valuable thing that he's doing. So I think we all have qualities that we have developed over the years. But then of course also there are differences. Not everything is equally useful or valuable. There's a difference whether a person is an accountant or works on the assembly line for iPhones, or a priest, a Buddhist monk, a mother. So many different ways. But there's different values in each of them. And so, of course, the Buddha leading the path to liberation, I guess that's the highest value. But also other things can be valuable, but not equally. Some a bit more, some a bit less. So with enough training and practice, we can get very good at what we do. I see sometimes also even on YouTube or TikTok, you can find things about all kinds of skills that people have. It's quite amazing what some people can do. Some are very good in cooking, others in gardening, music or accounting, whatever it is. You can find anything where people teach and share about their skills. And actually some people, they get very good at taking a bottle of water, throwing it up in the air, and it flips 3 times and then it stands when it lands. So how often do you have to practice that? 100 times, thousands of times probably. But then, what is the value of that skill? How valuable is that in your daily life, that you're able to throw a bottle and then it lands like this? So not every skill is equally valuable. Some are more valuable if you know how to cook for a family in a healthy way, in a way that sustains them. That's, I think, a useful skill. If you know how to do the bottle trick, I don't know, maybe sometimes on a party it could be fun, but beyond that, it's probably not so useful in your daily life. So in other words, the skills that we have, also am I developing skills that are valuable, that are not just difficult to do, but also useful, beneficial. And then lastly, the Buddha says, my assembly, bhikkhus, consists of many hundreds of disciples who, with the destruction of the Danes, have realized for themselves with direct knowledge liberation. I do not see any ground on the basis of which anyone could reasonably reprove me. For such and such reasons, it is not the case that your assembly consists of many disciples who have reached liberation. So on account of this, I dwell secure, fearless, and self-confident. So in other words, the skill that the Buddha has developed, discovered for himself, he doesn't just keep it for himself. He shares it with others and helps others to do the same. That is the value of the last point. So he's not selfish with the skills he has, but also teaches others, and others are also successful in gaining awakening. So it's a very nice thing if we have something valuable, that we don't only keep it for ourselves, but also share it with others, or let them also discover the same thing, that they also can get the same value. So that, in your own life, is there anything you would say, oh, that's a skill I have, that's something that seems valuable, but maybe I have not been sharing that much with anyone, I just enjoyed the fruits myself. Or maybe there would be ways of how I could also help somebody else, maybe a younger person or a friend who might have the same interest, and help him or her also move forward in the same direction. So if somebody comes to your house and says, wow, such a beautiful garden you're having here, rather than just saying, oh yeah, thank you, you could say, well, you have a house also, right? You want me to help you? You have a garden, I come over to you, we do a little bit of gardening together. Wow, yeah, you're laughing. How often does that happen? Never, huh? If you're a good cook, people praise you for that. It's well, if you want, I can show you, If you want to cook, it's actually not so difficult, You just have to know the recipe, and there are a few tricks that my grandmother has shown me. And then, you come over in the afternoon, I show you how to make this. And so you share your skills also with others. Or you know how to repair a car or whatever it is. Oh, yeah. So sharing your friends or younger generation. So it's actually, in this way, also our own lives become very meaningful because you give something to others. It's actually much more enjoyable than just enjoying the thing for ourselves often, if we can share. And interestingly, at the end of the day, what makes us really happy is often not all the things we have, but the things we give, the things we share, how we are able to contribute. That makes us actually much more happy. Even maybe it makes us also a little bit busy sometimes. You have less free time than you wanted. But then, what do I care for free time if I can be happy? What we really want is happiness. The other things like money, status, friends, health, whatever. The currency of the mind is happiness. This is what we really want. And the other things are things that we think we need to be happy. Some might be useful, others maybe not so important. So if it's just about happiness, actually helping others and sharing is actually a very easy and nice way of bringing happiness, not just to ourselves, but also to others. So, your homework is you think about yourself, where am I good at? Where are my true skills? And would there be a way how I can pass that on to somebody else? Is there anyone who could benefit from that, with whom I could share that? Not forcing it on anyone, but there are often people who are expressing interest, or they praise you for this or that. Maybe they have some interest in that. So you could offer that. Oh, if you want, I can show you. Well, let's do it together. And I can promise you, if you do that on a regular basis, your life will become really meaningful, happy, and everybody will love you because you're bringing value into other people's life. And as the Sutta suggests, this is a way of arousing confidence, well-being, wherever you go. Because you know your virtue is good, your verbal actions, your mental actions, your bodily actions, and also the things you do, we do them properly, well, and they have value. I offer that for your reflection today.